diving deeper into conversations relating to your health and overall just all the things that are so confusing with your health journey. And so I am a dietitian. My name is Hannah, and then we have my co-host Shannon here, who runs a podcast called Having a Mom Moment. We are just it's called Dietitian Dishing Up Depth because I feel like so often we talk surface level when it comes to our health, and so many people want simple, but they also are jumping over some pretty important things. And so during these weeks where you can check out past weeks where we talk a little into a certain scenario, and in this case I wanted to talk about the I won't quite say misconception, but the over assumption that genetics plays such a huge role in your risk for disease. And the reason I care about talking about this topic is because most of us have offspring, and then therefore that affects them. And it might affect us given what our genetics are. And so I thought I would just touch on this today. So, first off, how are you? Do you got your little beverage in
I'm
hand?
good. I do. And you know what I'm drinking? I'm drinking that tea that you sent me. The
Oh,
ginger. I love it. It's so
yes. Oh my
good.
gosh. Well, thank you for coming to the table and
Mm,
bringing that yummy tea I sent you. That
I'm happy to be
how
here
long
as
ago was
always.
that?
Maybe like a month or two ago. I don't know. Time is
Okay.
weird anymore.
Okay. Okay.
Maybe.
I like tea.
Yeah.
I like tea. I feel like it's a good mix when you're just kind of bored of drinking water, and I don't
Yeah.
know, you can get different flavors and
Definitely.
stuff.
Yeah.
So, when it comes to genetics, do you worry much about that in your health journey?
I do. So I'm glad we're talking about this. Yes, especially on my mom's side, like genes are not great. My dad's side is a little bit of a different story, but yeah, I do worry about how it's all going to come together in me and with my own offspring for sure. Offspring,
Mhm.
my daughters.
Yeah, that's what I said, so I get it. It's funny. That's good because disease, again, is so often just forgotten about because of societal's obsession with weight.
Mm,
And today, particularly, just heads up, I'm like a little more aware of that. And so you might hear that passion come through a little more. But truthfully, when you scroll, it's just like how to burn this belly fat, or this is the drink to lose this, or buy my weight loss product now, or look at how much weight I've lost in a little time, aka unhealthy. And it's just like bombarded in our brains, and it drives me nuts because then the word disease is just like, phew, what does that even matter? I don't have disease that I know of. What does it even
mm,
matter to me, right? And coming
yeah.
from a dietitian who worked a lot with disease just brings up this passion in a way that's like nobody's listening. Because when it comes to disease, we think like, well, it's in my genetics, so I'll probably get it someday, or it's out of my control, or whatever those kind of subconscious back of the mind thoughts are. But actually, one of the bigger things, and I'm not saying genetics doesn't play a role at all, but one of the bigger things that is kind of not thought about is not genetics,
Mm,
it's lifestyle. It's lifestyle, but people are like, oh, but I have a healthy lifestyle. It's like, but do you? Because so often what's passed down to us, and the reason I want to have this conversation is to hopefully just start the conversation about like breaking that cycle. What's passed down to us are our parents' nutrition beliefs and their relationship with food, and also their lifestyle habits. So, if that included dieting, if that included a way of eating based around religion or based around comfort or based around traditions, right? Or culture, there's a lot to it. All to say that's passed down. And then from when you were, growing up little, establishing your own beliefs, you hear your parents' beliefs about food, which could be carbs are bad, or fruit has a lot of sugar, or low fat this, right? Like we don't really know what that means, but it's just these beliefs towards health. But really everything I just said there was weight related, not health related. But also, I mentioned relationship with food. So, what have you observed or been passed down? Did you fall down or have a bad day at school and you were given or rewarded with ice cream, or here, have this to feel better, or oh, I made this for you to feel better, or whatever it looks like? If that is what's happening, a lot of rewarding with food, or a lot of, like comfort eating or stress eating or going out to eat a lot because of this or that. All to say, all of that contributes to your lifestyle. And that is what's passed down from
Mhm.
generation to generation. So if you have genetics that can contribute to your risk for disease, the lifestyle is usually the biggest determinant of if those genetics are going to be turned on or off, or if those genetics are going to then create that for you. And am I here to say that disease is your fault or anybody's fault if they did get it? No, but stop overlooking the bigger piece that is associated, because we're so distracted what's being thrown at our face every day. I mean, just scrolling has become so triggering for me, and I'm working through that myself, but like, I'm triggered because I've been through that and I've pulled out of that. But so many people haven't. And so, yes, coming from someone who I said worked with disease, it's like, let me say this louder so I too can be a voice of perspective for people to really then decipher like what it looks like for them when it comes to actually managing that risk. Is it just, I'm managing my weight, therefore I'm managing my risk? Those two aren't the same thing.
Right.
We've talked about that in past weeks, but now relating it to specifics like the even like Alzheimer's, diabetes, heart disease, breast cancers, that's all, together known as genetics.
Mhm.
Is
Mhm.
this making sense for you?
Yeah. So my question, I know cancers feel
I
kind of
know.
like a wild card, right?
It
Because
is. Yeah.
you can have family that gets it and then you don't get it, or it can go either way.
Yes.
Um, but things like Alzheimer's and dementia, are these things that to be impacted by lifestyle choices, good or bad, one way or the other?
Yeah. So there are things that you can especially do to prolong them. So preventing maybe isn't always possible. And yes, like you said, wild card with cancer, which I agree. But there are a lot of cancers that are what's, kind of like more so enabled through our lifestyle. So
Yeah.
that's not a hidden truth. But when it comes to those types of, especially like mental health ones with Alzheimer's or dementias, there's a lot of research that actually shows a huge role in prolonging, at least, if not preventing.
Hmm.
And that's really focusing on, there's amyloids on in your brain. We kind of have these chromosomes that have these little end caps per se, and the length of those end caps are related to your mental health and, again, your risk for Alzheimer's or dementia. And so when we're looking at that, the biggest contributor to that shortening of it, which you want it to be more longer, is actually inflammation.
Oh, interesting.
So
Interesting.
inflammation in your body is oh my gosh, we're talking about stress again, but inflammation in your body is triggered through lifestyle, and then when it's not managed regularly, it kind of really takes a toll. It's from oxidative stress, and that can be contributed from what lifestyle you have or what chemicals you're consuming, such as, if we, vape is really common these days. That's a chemical. Um, and also, yes, saturated fat. When we're looking at saturated fat from animals, am I saying that you have to do or don't? No, I'm just saying that the more saturated fat you consume from animals, that can also contribute to some inflammation over time. We know of sugar. The truth is, with sugar, though, it's that, like anything at too much, can contribute to almost inflammation, right? So, sugar itself just breaks down to glucose to be used for energy. Too much sugar yes, we all know too much sugar can then contribute to inflammation. So the biggest thing we can do is eat a diet that's high with anti-inflammatory properties to work towards that oxidative stress, to fight off inflammation, to work to heal your cells in your body, and do that more regularly.
Mm. Can I ask you a follow-up question?
Always, that's literally what you're here for.
I know. I know. I just don't want to go too far off on a separate tangent. But what would you say to someone who is very aware of the lack of food regulation happening here in the States and the kind of stuff that can squeak through our system that is not allowed in other places in the world? If What would you say to somebody who is aware of those things and is thinking, I feel kind of like damned if I do, damned if I don't, if I eat this food? What's the best way to move through, trying to make the best choice, but realizing that even my vegetables may be impacted or my fruits or whatever that I'm getting, even if I'm trying to eat more of the things that you're saying, but at the end of the day, there are things out of my control that are introducing things that we know are not good into our foods.
Yeah, that is a really loaded
Loaded.
question.
Yeah.
And when it comes down to it, I think what has happened is that we've been taught to over worry about something that might not need that level of worry.
Okay.
So hear me out. Hear me out. When those other, and again, I am not like super, like knowledgeable per se as to the level of this conversation, but I will say when we look at the parts per million per serving of whether it be pesticides or chemicals in our food, um, they are not entirely as unsafe as scare tactics make it sound. And when it comes to other countries taking things out, that also could be somewhat of a marketing approach on theirs to make it then appear more healthy.
Mm,
You're like, what the hell just happened? And I know, again, this is just coming from someone that's unbiased, trying to be as realistic as possible. Now, are there things like I choose organic over not organic in some foods? Yes, organic still uses pesticides. It's just limited to the amount that they can use and how much. And when it comes to a matter of like the amount on the food. First of all, you definitely do, like anything, want to be cleaning your produce. It helps to take off that, mostly the stuff that's stuck to that maybe includes like waxes or germs or bacteria. But yes, some of that. I just think that whatever those things that might be happening in the body between like if it is chemicals or if it is pesticides, those can then contribute to the body needing healing. However, in most cases, I want to talk to the people that are actually eating enough fruits and vegetables that really matters.
yeah.
Meaning the amount of those chemicals on the food are so minimal that you just have to be eating such an excessive amount on the regular, on, the every day for it to like add up to really entirely matter from what the amounts are researched as safe. My question is the foods such as like the greens and the berries and the, spices and all of that, yes, like vegetables, are we even eating enough of those on a regular basis? The
Yeah.
true things that hold the properties that fight off the inflammation or heal the cells from the damage of what has come.
Yeah.
Because most cases, no. Most cases, there's so much into the over worrying about being healthy that they're more so avoiding because of the potential of having certain chemicals.
Yeah.
And this is something I
Interesting.
see a lot is the obsession with health, which again, I'm talking like encouraging people to incorporate healthy habits. But what's also happening is there becomes an obsession with being healthy that isn't healthy either.
Yep.
And that is also one of the worst things for your kids to be exposed to, because it inserts anxiety and it inserts unsafety and it inserts this feeling of insecurity almost. So
Mhm.
my thing is, if you're doing anything that can help you as far as like choosing organic when you feel better about it, some people, want to do strawberries, some people want to do things that you eat skins on. um that's good and that's helpful, and you're washing your fruits. But really, the bigger belief is that the parts per million or billion or trillion that's on your foods are certainly safe, or researched to be safe.
Yeah.
More so focusing on consuming more of the things that help to protect your body and fight in, like antioxidants and fruits, vegetables, spices, things like that, even whole grains. All anything, chemicals we're breathing or consuming, or processed foods that we're doing, or just like we talked about, contributing to inflammation, they fight
Yeah.
off, or I should say, they improve the damage from oxidative stress. So you have antioxidants, which have extra electrons. Oxidative stress creates extra electron loss. So the antioxidant comes in and donates one of its electrons, and that helps to heal the cell. And damaged cells damage more cells. So the importance of healing that cell is actually really critical.
Yeah.
So it's all to say, like, I know that, like, we have a lot to pay attention to, and there's things, government and the whole relation to whatever they're saying and the biases there. But where we can start is just knowing that incorporating more nutrition is actually one of the best things that we can do.
I'm so glad you called it out, and thank you for saying that, because yeah, like, where is the actual concern and where should it be? I think that's so
Mhm.
important. It's like the same reason I'm not that person. I just know people around me who have voiced these concerns, and it's like the same reason I don't watch the news. Like, I'm going to control what I can control, and I'm just going to try to
Yeah.
make the best choices that I can.
Yeah. I mean, even the Dirty Dozen is more so a biased approach to gear people towards organic. It's a marketing thing as well,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
people don't like hearing that. They want to know that, but in reality, like, we don't even eat all organic, and I might lose some followers or subscribers for saying that. I don't care, because what is important to me is that we actually are getting enough fruits, vegetables, vitamins, minerals, healing properties. And therefore, what we choose to be organic is a matter of what our budget looks like, what we can afford to consume. Because if it means we can only afford three things because they're triple the price versus getting a bigger variety of produce, that's something that we consider.
Yeah.
Because budget is a part that most people, it's a huge barrier in their health journey. And then to feel like they're doing something wrong by consuming unhealthy produce is is going to put them in a position of much more vulnerability versus just like getting access to any level of nutrition.
Yeah. Yeah. Very valid point. Thank you.
I don't know. And I get it too. I know that and of course, if that's like why Shannon and I come here, because we like to be unscripted and create conversation, but I love to prepare things in a way that I can convey them, that people understand. So I can also reapproach that question on a deeper level too. But I just want, I just want the clarity, and that over obsession about a health journey isn't healthy. An obsession about weight not related to health, which means healing versus managing weight only, isn't always healthy. It's prioritizing your habits, thinking
Yeah.
about, like, what do my habits look like and what are they focused on? If my habits are looking like only eating this much, or over restricting, or focusing on avoiding certain things, like, that's more weight focused. When your habits are focused on healing and and making a lifestyle that's manageable, that's enlightening, that's empowering, that's, freeing.
Hmm. Hmm. I apologize for being distracted. We have a tornado watch all of a sudden, and I have alerts coming through, and dismissal is
I was
soon. So
kind
I
of wondering,
apologize.
'cause I was like, Is everything okay?
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I'm trying to stay tuned in, but I'm like, oh, weather.
Is my health gonna fall down?
Yeah. The watch is we have the ingredients for the taco, but we're not actively making tacos. So, yeah. Anyway.
Good. I love that you clarified that. I think everybody screws that up.
Yeah. Yeah. I am your resident tornado phobe, so I don't screw it up.
Mm,
There you
mm,
go.
mm.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get back to it. We'll finish this up. I just am here to say that when you prioritize your health over your weight, you start to care about things like cholesterol. You start to understand the importance of what's going in versus obsessing about what's not, meaning over restricting.
Yeah.
You start to and I'll just say that I am hosting a masterclass called Improving Your Cholesterol, Avoiding Meds on May 31st. And there is a link in the description if you want to check it out. But we're just deep diving into what you can do to manage your cholesterol on your own. Because I think what I get a lot of people coming to me is saying, my doctor's told me I have high cholesterol. If I don't do something, I'm going to be put on meds the next visit. I don't know what to do. We're going to tell you what to do.
Sounds amazing and so needed.
Well, it's definitely something that becomes less dorky when you prioritize the right things.
It's not dorky. Health is not dorky.
Oh gosh. Okay. Well, hope you're having a great week. Stay out of a tornado, Shannon. Might have
That's what
to
we're trying for. That's the goal,
hopefully
right?
next week I don't come up here alone or everyone will be worried.
It's all good. All right, everybody.
Okay. Have a great day. We'll see you soon. And most importantly, enjoy the journey. Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.